Hello and welcome to Scouching's 2022 NHL Draft Recap Series. Today we're looking at the Carolina Hurricanes, and despite what multiple people have been asking me and yelling at me about over the last few weeks, no, I do not work for the Carolina Hurricanes. No, I am not their scouting department. No, I don't think they're stealing all my data and just drafting off of it. It's just that I am just as dumb as they are, honestly. I think that that's the biggest thing that's going on. But I kid. I love you, Carolina, you bunch of jerks. And I feel like I may have made a mistake already by not drafting Gleb Trikazov with my 38th pick for Team Scouching, but I only did that because I didn't think Toronto was going to trade down again later on, and I thought I might be able to get him in the third round, but I underestimated the Carolina Hurricanes, of course. The Hurricanes took Gleb Trikazov at 60. What more can I say? The Church of Gleb is out there. It's strong. I may have gotten myself in a little too deep here with the Church. But look, I love Gleb Trikazov. He's young, he's dynamic, he's skilled, he's fast, he's fun to watch. He can set up plays, he can score. The defensive game, I think, has got better than people gave him credit for. I really felt he deserved to play in the VHL for a lot longer and for more minutes than he did. Even in the MHL, he was playing like second or third line minutes from time to time at even strength, and I would have just been throwing him over the boards as much as I possibly could because all he did was score. Insane production rates, way beyond what I expected out of him seeing him at the Holinka Championship. I really like Gleb Trikazov, and I will go to bat for him forever. So yeah, great pickup for Carolina at 60. And I know people are saying, well, what if he never comes over? What if he never comes over? Every single player I've heard about that said it has generally come over. I think the only one so far in the last few years where that's been said to me a bunch of times where he hasn't come over yet is Arseny Griciuk. I mean, Alexander Pashin is coming over to play for Carolina, a guy I had in the first round ranked, and he went in the 7th round. So I love the pickup of Trikazov at 60. If you're starting your draft at 60, that's a banger to start your draft with. Alexander Paravalov at 71. I kind of liked Paravalov from time to time. I think that there's potential with his game. He just needs to just settle into a style of play that works for him. He's got skill. He's resilient. He's got a bit of size as well. It's just a matter of he was trying a lot of things and trying to be extremely creative one-on-one, and it just didn't work out for him very much. But figuring all that out, I think, will take him a ways. I mean, I think he could maybe be a third-line sort of two-way guy without a huge set of expectations for him. But yeah, I liked Paravalov in that range, sure. I may have nitpicked some other guys in that range, but I had him ranked at 59, so getting him at 71, sure. At 101, they drafted a guy that I also was kind of souring on a little bit as the year went on in Simon Forsmark, but I see a nice low upside, high floor guy. Smart puck distributor, no bones about it, just a simple player in a good way, puts pucks on net from the point, and I think that's where a lot of his a lot of his offense came from at the under 20 level. Didn't see a ton of creativity out of him, but he kind of is just a really smart puck mover, just knows what to do with the puck and when, and I think that really helped him out in the games that I watched him in, at least. So we'll see what happens with him. I think it's a nice pickup for them at 101, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him play some kind of NHL minutes. Cruz Lucious at 124. He was injured a significant portion of the year. It's a bit of a wild card. I wasn't really blown away with Cruz Lucious's game when I watched him this year. Had a good under 18 though. Showed pretty well. If there's something there, there's something there. I just came away thinking that he was like a less well-refined version of his older brother, Chaz. But we'll see what happens with Lucious. For me, honestly, one of the picks of the draft at 156, taking Vladimir Grudinin, I was stunned to see him fall that far and see some of the names that went off the board before him. Like, it just made me think that something terrible happened behind the scenes that Carolina just doesn't care about and they're drafting him. But I get the feeling that that's not what happened. I don't know. I get the feeling that what happened was teams saw a 5'10" defenseman that doesn't have great straight line speed and doesn't always execute the best breakout plays and just sort of devalued him. But I mean, look, I liked him more in the KHL than what I saw of Danila Yurov. And he plays defense, and he's also 5'10". The mobility is exceptional. The skill level for a defenseman is, I honestly think, one of the higher in the draft. I was stunned that he fell that far, and You give him a few years in Russia to sort of play for the CSKA team. He'll play in the KHL probably more than he did this year, next season. Played really well in the VHL, and I would encourage him to be more creative and confident and deceptive and play him on the frickin' power play, because whenever I was watching him, he didn't seem to pull off that much power play minutes in the junior level, and I think that's why his production wasn't great. So I think that might turn out to be the pick of the draft when we look back in a few years if Grudinin develops well, if Russia doesn't completely implode and their hockey system comes along with it. I think Grudinin could be a really interesting pickup for Carolina. And of course they drafted him. Of course they did. Jakub Vondrass at 171. He played second division Czech hockey this year, second division Czech junior hockey. I mean, he saved a lot of pucks. That's all I can ask for. If you want to take a goalie who saves a lot of pucks at 171, I am okay with it, especially if the names that we've already gotten include Gleb Cherkasov and Vladimir Grudinin. And at 205, Alex Pelovin, a really good pickup too. I had him ranked at 71st. I think in terms of defensive play, one of the more underrated players in the draft. I think, again, he's a guy like Grudinin where I would encourage him to be a bit more confident. His skill with the puck was pretty notable. And I just feel like the offense didn't really come out because he wasn't being encouraged to play that way, because he can, I think. But defensively responsible, very, very mobile. I thought he would play in the KHL more than he did this year, which I believe was only one game at the beginning of the year, but I thought he played pretty well in that game. So I'll be looking forward to seeing him and his development. And again, you stash him in Russia for a while, and I think that he was a great pickup at 205. One of the best players available for me that I also realistically saw maybe getting a draft pick. So Carolina, I mean, what can I say? Another year where they just do an extremely good job. They landed two guys I had in my top 15, and they only started drafting at 60. I might have gone a different direction than guys like Paravalov, Forsmark, and Lucious in that range. Just to pull up a list of guys where I might have looked at instead of Paravalov. Jordan Gustafson, Adam Ingram, they were all sort of in the mix. Mats Lindgren, but again, at that point, names like Ty Nelson, Devin Kaplan, Suzdalev, Odelius, they had all come off the board. Adam Sikora, so I can't be too picky about that. And Forsmark at 101, I think, is a reasonable pick. Just a lot of solid drafting. I might have swung harder at the Lucious pick. I honestly, I think that this is the only draft that I think holds a candle to Seattle, but I'm still giving them a 1C. Mostly because of the uncertainty around their draft class, largely because of the Russian stuff. But they drafted really, really well. I honestly think I like their draft a little bit more than Minnesota's, especially considering they didn't have any first-round picks, let alone top 50 picks, and one pick in the top 2 rounds. Minnesota had the luxury of a number of high picks. So I think when you scale things for that, I think Carolina does get past Minnesota and Buffalo. And again, there's going to be a lot of factors that can change this, but I thought they did extremely well, again, as they always tend to do in the draft. And that's going to be it for the Carolina one. So that's it for this. We'll go to San Jose after this. The San Jose Sharks, as they enter a new era without Doug Wilson Jr., but he put his stamp on the team with his draft class here. So join me tomorrow for that one, and we'll see you then. Okay, thank you all.